Hi there, folks. My name is Christine, and I'm going to tell you a story. I worked 25 years at Goldman Sachs. I started in 1984 working in the New York office, and I transferred to the Boston office in 1990. Now, after 25 years at Goldman Sachs, many people leave and continue with their career in banking or finance or some investment management firm. I didn't do that. I took the path less traveled. So join me as I discuss how my 25-year career at Goldman Sachs led me to doing what not many people would ever do. Now, I was not a trader or a big shot. I was 21 years old. I started on Valentine's Day, and I knew it was going to be a love affair between me and my employer. Little did I know I would spend 25 years there, and little did I know that I would move to the Boston office in 1990. But life changes and you go along with it. And it has been a very good run. I lost my job in the 2009 financial crisis through no fault of my own. Well, maybe there was fault of my own. I evolved. I started as a sales assistant on the equities desk. I worked with the sales traders and the traders, and it was a really exciting time. Goldman Sachs only had 3,500 employees at the time, and it was a small partnership. We were like a family. I truly loved my time working there. In 1986, though, I met this fella from Edmonton, Canada, in the Fiji Islands. Little did I know he would become my husband one day, and he would move to New York, and I would promise that we won't live in New York forever. So in 1990, the opportunity arose where I could move to the Boston office. And so we did. I only spent a weekend in Boston in my whole life. But he got a job in the suburbs, and I got a job in the Boston office. And we moved to a small town that had a MBTA train station, so I could commute easily. You see, in New York, we don't drive to work. We take public transportation, and that's what I was used to. We set our sights on building a home in a suburb with a train station, so my life could be easier and I can commute to Boston every day. Now, working for Goldman Sachs, you have to be at work every day. You can't have a flat tire, or the car can't start, or a car breakdown, or whatever. When you work at Goldman Sachs, you have to be at Goldman Sachs when you're supposed to be at Goldman Sachs. And I knew that. And that's why we moved to Norfolk County. Anyway, in 1990 also, I found out I was pregnant with my first child. My daughter was born in August, after only working there for 6 months. Goldman Sachs had very generous maternity leaves, and I was lucky enough to have 4 months off to stay at home with my first child. 18 months later, I had my second child. And then 2.5 years later, I had my third child. And then I was finished. I was working full time, and it was really, really hard. We had nannies living with us that made it a little easier because my schedule was not flexible at all. The stock market was open 9:30 to 4 o'clock, and I knew that any day can change due to volatility, due to market crashes, market surges, whatever it may be, and that I was going to be the reliable one. You know, I was proud to call Goldman Sachs my employer. I really was. And in the 1990s and in the early 2000s, technology really started to take off, and I became in a project management role because I was a user of the platforms, and I worked with trading, and I worked with clients, and I worked with operations, and my job had many tentacles to it, and I got involved with many different diverse areas of the firm. And I loved that because every day I went to work, it was a different day. And to me, that was one of the blessings that I had because my personality is not like you go in and do the same thing every day. I like a challenge. I like diversity. I like not knowing what the day is going to bring. It makes it exciting to go to work. Anyway, it was an exciting time. In 1999, the company went public, and I also became a vice president because of my vast reach throughout the firm, right? So everybody knew who I was and what I did. At that time also, I was no longer part of the equities division, which really saddened me in some ways because it's been my home for 16 years. and I became part of operations. I was the only one in operations in the Boston office. The rest of my division was in New York, Salt Lake City, and Bangalore. But things started changing and they started doing things a little bit differently, and I kind of saw the writings on the wall. Now folks, granted, I did not earn a lot of money at Goldman Sachs until I became a vice president. I was an hourly employee for the first 15 years of my career at Goldman Sachs. I think in 1993, my total gross salary was like $50,000. And it didn't increase that much. I mean, if I worked late, I got overtime. So I was just like low man on the totem pole. And not everyone who works for Goldman Sachs is rich. A lot of people work really hard for not that much money until you prove yourself and until you get to that upper position, especially in operations. So in 1999, I got that coveted title, right? Vice President. It came with an extra week vacation. It came with more money. And it also came with more challenges because I knew that I was going to be put up against other vice presidents now in the firm when it came to, exciting projects or bonus money or raises. I knew that I was up against some pretty tough competition. I enjoyed my time as Goldman Sachs vice president. I started earning money that I never thought I was capable of earning. I was able to buy a new car and send my kids to a private high school. And I was able to do things that I had extra money that I didn't know what to do with. I started donating it to my favorite charities. I started, giving some of it away. But there was still a hole in my heart. Like, there was still more that I could do. And it's easy to give when you have it. It's really hard to give when you don't. I started working in the early 90s with technology and compliance and clients and trading and sales in trying to streamline the process of what we did at Goldman Sachs, right? Especially post-trade. So my job was working with technology, giving the needs, right? So I would go to the regulatory or compliance or a customer and kind of draft up all the needs of what the project needs to fulfill. And I would be one of the testing people that would go into the beta testing model and test all the technology advances that we had. But I also saw the writing on the wall. I saw that one day my job is going to be eliminated, right? I am personally going to eliminate my job. If I keep doing what I'm doing, one day there's going to be no need for me anymore. 2006, I had 9 weeks vacation. I got 6 weeks vacation. I had 3 weeks carried over, and I took a month off and I went to Sri Lanka to build houses for tsunami victims because I felt the need to give something back. I had a lot of energy. I had money. I had time. And I needed to do this. So I went, and it was a wonderful experience, but at 40-something, walking up a rickety old ladder in the 95-degree sun was not really my forte. In 2007, still 9 weeks vacation, I set my sights on volunteering in Tanzania, and a colleague from the New York office decided that she was going to come with me because she was so moved by my work in Sri Lanka. That, my friends, is when my whole life changed. I made a promise on that trip, and I came home and I started the process of opening up an incorporated nonprofit organization. It took 1 year to get the IRS determination letter of a 501c3. I was the founder of Chris Cares International, which is a nonprofit organization. I was so proud. I had a side hustle. I had another passion outside of work. And in 2008, when the stock market crashed, I knew the writing was on the wall. I had a nonprofit that would hold me high when I lost my job. And in 2009, in February, that day came. I was let go from Goldman Sachs after 25 years and 12 days. What a kick in the ass, huh? But I had a nonprofit. I had some work to do, and I had something that would make me feel good during a time where I was very sad. Yeah, losing your job sucks, folks, by the way, especially losing your job at Goldman Sachs. I went through the motion of applying for jobs and sending out resumes and applying for more jobs and sending out more resumes and redoing cover letters and more cover letters. I even had a few interviews, but my heart wasn't in it. And I guess that those employers really saw that. They knew that I was working in Tanzania and had a nonprofit organization. By April of 2009, I made another promise after the church opened. I promised that I would build a school in Tanzania. And not just any school. A school that gave a quality education. Hopefully maybe one day even a free education to the neediest of children. Those who are excelling well beyond their expectations. In 2010, I did just that. Anyway, after you leave Goldman Sachs, where do you go from there? Goldman Sachs, in my eyes, was the top of the top. And the only way I can leave Goldman Sachs was not about earning more money. It was about doing something good with my life. Doing everything that the people at Goldman Sachs taught me how to do. And that's what I did. In 2013, we changed the name to the Tanzania School Foundation. And in my next video, I will talk about the struggles and the challenges of building a school in Africa. It's not easy. And people think that just because I work from Goldman Sachs that I'm connected to large swaths of money. And I'm not. We'll talk about how we raise money and how difficult it is and the challenges of not having a job while trying to raise money. Anyway, this was my choice. I left Goldman Sachs and I built a school in Tanzania. And I'm proud of that. I might not have a lot of money anymore, but I changed the lives of a lot of people. And that's what's important to me. Hey, thanks for watching. My next video will even be more heartwarming. Subscribe. Come along for the ride. Have a great day.